Okay, last video we talked about 3 important data structures in Python: lists, sets, and tuples. But in this video, we're going to be talking about another important data structure called dictionaries. It's pretty common to see dictionaries come up in a technical interview, so if you want to do well in those interviews, then you should keep watching this video. Think of a dictionary in Python as like an actual dictionary. You know, like the books with words and their definitions in it. Think of the words as keys in Python, and think of the definitions as values in Python. In Python, dictionaries store data in key value pairs. So let me show you what the syntax looks like. Similar to sets, dictionaries are represented by curly braces, and they're also mutable. And they store data in key value pairs. And so let me show you an example of a dictionary so that you understand the syntax better. Okay, so here's an example of a dictionary called Stuff, and it has 3 key value pairs, and you can see that everything before the colon over here is the key, and everything after the colon, so in this case, it's this list, this integer, and this set, those are the values. And we separate the key value pairs using commas. So comma over here, comma over here. And so in dictionaries, the keys must be immutable. So they can either be strings or numbers, and they can't be any mutable data type like lists or sets. So if I had this, if this list was actually a key instead of a value, then it wouldn't work because lists are mutable. And dictionaries are also ordered. So if I were to print out this, if I were to print out stuff, then it would return all the key value pairs in its order as it is right now. And dictionaries cannot store duplicate key values or key names. So let me show you an example. So over here I have a dictionary called duplicate stuff, and it has 2 key value pairs, or it seems like it has 2 key value pairs, and the key name is fruit. But the problem is that it has the same key value or the same key name for each of the pairs. And so if this happens, technically we're not going to run into an error, but it's not very ideal because this key value pair, this fruit and apple key value pair, it's not going to get displayed because grapes is the latest value that's assigned to the key called fruit. So basically this whole thing is going to be ignored, and this thing is only going to be treated as part of the dictionary. Okay, now I'm going to hop over to my computer screen over here, and I'm going to show you some methods that you can use with dictionaries. Alright, so over here I have a dictionary called student grades, and the keys represent the names of the students, and the values represent the grades that each student got in the class. And the data that I have here is completely fictional, so don't think that this data is anything important. I literally just made it up right now. I just have this because I want to show you, I want to explain the things you can do with dictionaries for the sake of this video. So with that being said, let's get into the first method that I want to talk about, which is the get method. And so whenever you want to retrieve a value from a key, like if you know what the key name is, then this is how you're going to do it. You're going to say student grades, which is you're going to pass in the name of the dictionary, which is this in this case, and you're going to say dot get. And let's say we want to know the grade that Alice got. We're going to say Alice, and then it's going to give us 90. And if we say we wanted to get Bob's grade, then if we pass in Bob, it's going to give us 85. And so this is particularly useful if we know what the name of the key is. If we don't, then this method isn't that helpful. But there are other methods that are still just as important as this get method over here. So I'm going to talk about also talk about the keys method. And so this method basically returns an iterable of all the keys in the dictionary. So if I say student grades dot keys, if I just run that, it's going to give me an iterable of all the keys, And this is really useful because a common case is when you have to loop over each key in the dictionary for whatever reason. So let me show you what the syntax for that is. And it's for key in studentgrades.keys, you're going to print out the key. And so I made another video on for loops, and you'll see it pop up somewhere on the screen right now. And if you haven't watched that already, then I highly recommend you check that out, because for loops are really essential in Python. And this is a pretty common case of what you might do in like an interview. It's not going to be this simple, but it's like the same idea. And another method that's really important is the dot items. This one doesn't return only the keys. It returns both the keys and the values as a tuple. So I covered tuples in another video and you'll see it pop up somewhere on the screen right now. But it basically, a tuple contains data that is immutable. And so if I were to loop through each tuple, or key value pair in this whole dictionary, then what I can do is I can say for key item in studentgrades.items, I'm going to print the key and the item. So this is going to give me the key and the value, and I could also print them out separately if I wanted to. Like that. But yeah, that's basically this method has a lot of use cases for if I wanted to get if I didn't know what the name of the key was, then this method would be pretty useful. And the keys method is also just as important, because if I didn't know what the key name was, then I could still get the value. Like let me show you a quick example. If I said, like, let's say for key in studentgrades.keys, and then let's say I only wanted to retrieve the people who only had who had a grade of over, I don't know, let's say like 85%, then what I can do is I can say if student grades is, if the value is greater than 85%, then we're going to print out the name of the student, and we're also going to print out the name of the grade of the student. And so if I run that, it's gonna return Alice and Diana, because they are the only students who received a score higher than 85 in the class. And so this is really useful because I don't know who, I didn't even look at this dictionary when I just created this short line of code, but this automatically returns the names and the values with this key variable over here. But yeah, let me keep going down to updating a value. So this, if we wanted to update the value of a key for whatever reason, then it's really straightforward, this syntax. Let's say that Alice got a score of, there was an issue in the data entry, and Alice ended up getting a 95 instead of a 90. So what we can do is we can say student grades and then Alice, and we can say that's equal to 95. And if you run that, nothing's gonna print anything because I didn't print anything. But if I say student grades, if I run that, now we can see that the value of Alice, the grade that Alice got, has changed to 95. And let me show you like a quick example that won't work. So this won't work. If I say student grades, and if I wanted to have Alice, if I wanted to do something like this, if I had something where there's two where the key has, or there's duplicates in the keys, then that wouldn't work out because it's only going to retrieve this key value pair, the latest one. So if let me run that. It's only going to return the second one, the latest one. Even though it didn't give me an error right now, it's still just not recommended to have two of the same key names. So just get rid of this. It's unnecessary, and just say that. So yeah, those are pretty much the important methods for dictionaries. There's a lot more, but I want to keep this video pretty short, so I'm only going through the ones that I can think of right now. So I'll put a link in the description for a more comprehensible list of methods that you can use with dictionaries. So yeah, now I'm going to move on to the next part of the video, which is the quiz. Okay, now that you know some of the core methods in dictionaries, I'm going to give you a 5-question multiple choice quiz, and make sure to pause the video before I give you the solution for each question, and let me know how you do in the comments below. Question 1. What is the correct way to define a dictionary in Python? Is it A, B, C, or D? And pause the video before I show you the solution. The correct answer is C, because you can see that the other options is using the wrong notation. So it's not the square bracket, it's not the parenthesis, it's not the greater than or less than sign. To create a dictionary, we have to use the curly braces. Question 2. What will be the result of the following dictionary? So we got a dictionary called duplicate, and it has 2 key value pairs, fruit and apple, and fruit and banana, and then we're going to print out duplicate. So what will it actually be printed? The correct answer is D. And it may seem like there are 2 key value pairs, but remember, there can't be any duplicate values in the key names. So because we have the same key name called fruit twice, only this key value pair is going to be outputted because this was the most recent key value pair. Number 3, what does the .get method do in a dictionary? The correct answer is C, because if we pass in the key name inside the parentheses for this method, it's going to give us the value for that key. It's not A because it doesn't give us all the keys. That's another method. It's not B because .get has nothing to do with deleting a pair. And it's not D because .get is not for updating, because updating is a completely different thing we do. Question 4. Which method returns all the key value pairs in the dictionary as tuples? The answer is D, because the .items method, it returns the key value pairs as tuples, with the first element being the key and the second element being the value. Okay, last but not least, question 5. What happens if you try to use a list as a dictionary key? The answer is C, because you're not allowed to use a mutable data type as a key in the dictionary. So because of that, you're gonna get a type error. Alright, that's all I got for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you're curious to see how you can convert this data in a dictionary into a CSV file, then click on this video over here if it's out. If I haven't already made it, then it's not gonna show up, but you can still see this video over here. I don't know what's gonna be, but make sure to click on it, because not only is it gonna help my algorithm out too, but it's gonna help you learn something new. So hopefully I see you in that video. Thank you guys so much for watching.